Rain Car Reports has a kind of interesting hypothesis that as electric trucks are need to be coming onto the market, that the old standbys like Ford will have an advantage over things like Rivian or, let's see,
They could.
Hercules,
They could.
because they already have the factories. Meanwhile, Tesla still has to build the Cybertruck factory in Austin, Texas. So it's kind of interesting to consider. We've talked a lot about whether or not the old guard of car manufacturing is able to pivot and capitalize on the push to clean up our transportation systems and make electric cars and especially electric trucks. And I think our general consensus has always been, well, it's this big massive old boat, and getting it to turn and properly focus on it is a problem. But I thought it would be interesting to see what you guys believed about that. I mean, I think it's a pretty good argument that they already have the infrastructure and they're doing the work to change that infrastructure to make EVs. But I know I have been pretty critical and said that to me they seem to be taking an awfully long time and they've worked super hard to undermine electric vehicles at the same time. So thoughts?
They have a point. Like we've seen with Nissan that the marriage of the electric powertrain and battery can be done using the exact same process as your fossil stuff, your combustion. And trucks are a good start because there's so much extra room to work with, and people aren't expecting them to get that good of a range or fuel economy anyway because they're square. So on paper, yeah.
The volumes, like how many F-150s does Ford make a year versus how many Tesla cars are made each year?
A Ford F-150 versus everything else in the world.
Yeah, they're the number one selling vehicle in the U.S.
They have
it's a huge number.
Massive amounts of factories with supplier relationships and customization capabilities. I mean, you can order, I think there's like 30 million configurations of an F-150, and you can get it with 900 trim levels. And like, it's crazy how big that business is. And they've figured it out how to do it if they can do that and just put electric powertrains in them. Some of these startups.
900,000 per year, Paul.
How many?
900,000.
Wow.
No.
Just
on one model.
Vehicle, yeah. So a lot of these articles paint these as this versus that and this versus the other, and I think that's
lazy.
That, oppositional framing makes for a good title, but there's way more than one car company, and there is room when we're doing a transition like this for new entrants. Some of those new entrants are going to get bought up by the legacy people because they have the technology that the legacy companies want. And some of the legacy makers have loyal customers who I'm going to buy Ford till the day I die kind of people. And that means that, hey, Ford needs to move them to electric too. And if that's the only way to get them to do it is there, for Ford to switch so they can buy their electric F-150, great. So yeah, I let's like Casey said earlier, let's lift all boats.
Yeah,
I was I agree, Patrick. That the this versus that is good clickbait and it gets people to read the article, but certainly as long as the big three aren't going to swoop in and tucker the rest of them, like, hey, I have an up and comer, I'm going to squish you like a bug, kind of thing, referring to the Tucker cars.
Yeah. That's why we still have crappy headlights in this country.
And but I do feel, and something we have said many times, with established assembly lines, established dealerships, established service, established parts ordering, the infrastructure is there for them to just shift their product and they already have everything in place. I mean,
It's
that's
theirs to
why,
lose, but they
yeah.
sure seem to be trying to lose it.
Yes,
I know.
absolutely.
And like we were saying last week, it was last week, we were saying that, you know, while pushing forward in Toyota announcing a new battery electric vehicle that they're going to be coming out with, they're still lobbying the United States government for
Anti.
oil incentives and
Right.
you know, ease of restrictions. And it's like you're talking literally out of both sides of your mouth.
Right. Yeah, that timeline you just showed, you know that that all the big auto companies have lobbyists that are trying to make sure those don't ever come into being until they're ready for it.
Yeah,
Which will be never if they have the choice.
right.
Basically.
Right.
But I
if
think
they, if
actually
they
looking,
can focus on it and put
Go
some effort to it, I mean, look at 2007. Apple was a computer company, and then they came out with an iPhone, completely different, new thing for them that changed their whole business. I mean, their stock went to the moon. Totally changed how what they were. They weren't a computer company anymore. They were
Yeah.
Apple. So maybe Ford or GM will figure it out, and they'll pivot and change what they do. But maybe
Well,
they
they have the E150 they keep talking about. Hopefully, hopefully that continues.
Yeah,
But
they
well, I
the-
was looking at the
But we'll
Hercules
see.
partnership with with Nissan that they talk about at the end of the article. And I thought, you know, for me, that sounds like something an established auto manufacturer should jump on. I don't think, of course, I don't think Tesla would be connecting with any old stodgy company like that, because I think the prestige of a Tesla requires them to have their own individual unique design. But I could totally see that working for a GM. Like, why not have somebody who's already working on e-cars to just come on in and say, hey, let's partner on this one, and that will get you to market faster.
Well, Tesla has done it in the
Like
past with
Nikola?
the Smart EV and the RAV4 EV, and what was the third one? They've done it in the past. Oh, the Mercedes A, the little micro van.
But does that make you wonder how much longer will there be a Lordstown and a Rivian? You know, will somebody just buy them?
Exactly.
It's an easy way to innovate, throw some money at it.
or will the executives fall asleep at the wheel like Kodak did and disappear?
Or worse, like beat it home like Kodak did.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to do the new thing, even though we invented it and are great at it.
Mhm. Yeah.
GM
Yeah.
hasn't had much luck. They tried to partner with Nikola for the Badger, and we all know how that ended. And
Yes.
then they
Lordstown.
partnered with Lordstown, and now the same Hindenburg Research has gone after them, and there's some reason to be
coincidence.
concerned about their future as well.
Actually,
GM's not doing well.
with Lordstown, GM made a good plan because they lent them the money to purchase the plant. That means GM still owns the plant if Lordstown defaults on the payment. And
Nice.
they're a creditor and get to keep their property.
All right.
There you go. Yeah.
Smart.
But they
So
had
they
such a
can
head start
learn
with the
new
EV1.
tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hindenburg Research is an interesting group, Patrick. You know,
Who are they going to get next?
Yeah.
No, I agree. They're very interesting. They're actually out there doing, pounding the
Their
ground,
name
hitting.
implies that anybody that research is going to blow up miserably.
They are looking for the Hindenburgs before they explode. I think
I'm definitely not defending any of their targets, but I do think it's interesting that their targets are electric vehicle companies.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's good. We need to winnow out the bad actors wherever they are. Absolutely.
And anytime there's a market that is going through a big hype cycle, there's going to be people that come in just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need people to figure out who the real players are and who the people just trying to ride the hype curve and cash out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Georgia, any wrap up, any final thoughts there? No?
No, it's just going to be the wild, wild west until we come out with either the same old big three or maybe four with Tesla, or a brand new set of big three.
That's how it used to go in the past. They would flip around. That's how GM got where they are, buying them all up.
Maybe both. Who knows?
Yeah, how many things that are brands now started out as individual companies?
There you go. Well, thank you very much.
I was surprised, sorry, just going back to the CNBC story,
Yeah.
that GM sells more cars in China now than in America.
Wow.
So,
They're also one of the ones I missed with the battery manufacturing. They've got their stuff in order to get started on that.